They scored 12 agreement from 1957. This is like 9 IMDb ratings, so this one's pretty good. It's quite impressive that this movie from 1957 has really holds up to this day, and that's also big. The edition Court of General Session.
To continue, murder in the first degree. A premeditated murder is the most serious charge tried in our criminal courts.
It's true.
To tear down and try and separate the facts from the fancy. Reasonable doubt. Then you must bring me a verdict of not guilty. There's no reasonable doubt. Find the accused guilty. The death sentence is mandatory in this case.
Mission those time the death sentence is available. I think it's not available in except in a few countries. This is a guy.
Try this one. Hey, oh. His gum?
Oh, thanks.
What?
Move it.
That's You know something? This is going to be the hottest day of the year.
And it's in summer.
What do you think? Now, if there's anything you want, I'll be right outside the door. Just knock.
Okay. I never knew they locked the door. Sure they locked the door. What'd you think?
I thought we might want to vote by ballot.
Great idea. Maybe we can get him elected senator.
I almost fell asleep.
I mean, I've never been on a jury before.
No. When it's an open and shut case like this one, I mean, did you ever hear so much talk about nothing?
Well, I guess they're entitled.
If you ask me, I'd slap those tough kids down before they start any trouble.
How to say no,
What did you think of the case? I mean, it had a lot of interest for me. We were lucky to get a murder case. I figured that's for an assault or burglary. Boy, they can be the dullest.
What about that business with the knife? I mean, asking grown-up people to believe that kind of jazz, huh? Oh, come on, Mr. Foreman. Let's go here, huh?
Well, the guy's still in the bathroom.
Just maybe in the whole one shot. I didn't even see
I was only wondering how the
it.
market. Okay, man, let's take our seats, huh?
When to get started.
I happen to have tickets to that ball game tonight. Yanks and Cleveland. Boom! Real jug handle.
Wants to go to his sports event.
I thought we'd sit in order, you know, by jury numbers of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on around the table. Okay, fellas, can we hold it down a minute? Fellas, say we'd like to get started. Gentlemen at the window.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is everyone here?
The old man is inside.
Oh, would you knock on the door for him?
No one was in the
Being hit in the head with a crowbar.
Say we'd like to get started.
Oh, forgive me, gentlemen. I didn't mean to keep you waiting.
No, I'm not going to make any rules. We can, well, discuss it first and then vote on it. Vote on it right now. Then
I think
Going
it's
to vote now.
Oh, who knows? Maybe we can all get out of here, huh?
Have a first-degree murder charge here, and if we vote the accused guilty, we've got to send him to the chair.
The chair.
It's to be 12-0 either way. All those voting guilty, please raise your hands. 10, 11. Okay, that's 11 guilty. Those voting not guilty?
One not guilty.
11 guilty, 1 not guilty.
And there's always one.
Okay.
Oh, what do we do now?
Really think
Here
he's
we go.
innocent?
I don't know.
Dangerous killer, you could see it.
He's 18 years old.
Stabbed his own father 4 inches into the chest. They proved it.
I want to hear the evidence.
Then what do you want? Do you believe his story? I don't know whether I believe it or not. Maybe I don't.
So how come you vote not guilty?
Not easy to raise my hand and send a boy off to die without talking about it first.
Couldn't change my mind if you talked for 100 years.
I'm not trying to change your mind. It's just that
He's going to change his mind.
Suppose we do it in 5 minutes, so what?
The game doesn't start till 8 o'clock.
Got something to say?
What's the reason?
Slum, mother dead since he was 9. He lived for a year and a half in an orphanage when his father was serving a jail term. Hit on the head by somebody once a day, every day.
He got a fair trial, didn't he? What do you think that trial cost? He's lucky he got it. And here,
He's going away.
we heard I've lived among them all my life. You can't believe
Ah,
a
thank
word
you.
they born liars.
Only an ignorant man can believe that.
No. Come on, we have a job to do now. Let's do it.
Breakfast with a built-in bounce? I wrote that line.
Very catchy.
Yeah.
Say, do you mind?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Disagreeing with us? Well, perhaps you could tell us why. You know,
There you go.
let us know what you're thinking, and suppose we go once around the table. I guess you're first.
I just think he's guilty. I thought it was
So?
obvious from the word go. Well, I just think he's guilty. I mean, somebody saw him do it.
Okay,
Okay.
but
It's
I
a
think,
very
and I have some
big
old feelings.
guess.
The old man, 10 minutes after 12 on the night of the killing, he heard loud noises. Kid yell out, "I'm gonna kill you." Second later, he heard a body hit the floor. Saw the kid running down the stairs. Now, coroner fixed the time of death around midnight. He still got to pay for what he did.
I'm with you.
He claimed he was at the movies during the time of the killing, and yet 1 hour later, he couldn't remember the names of the films he saw or who played in them.
Listen, what about the woman
Distance.
across the street? Here's a woman who's lying in bed. She looks out the window, and right across the street, she sees the kid stick the knife into his father. His window was right opposite hers across the L tracks, and she swore she saw him do it. This L train had no passengers on it, just being moved downtown.
Oh, great.
I don't believe the boy's story. How come you believe the woman's? She's one of them, too, isn't she?
One of them.
She's so wise about it, I'm telling you.
Okay, now, come on. Now, we're not going to get anywhere fighting.
Yeah, can I pass it?
Pass. The scene.
Oh, if you don't have a motive, where's your case, right? Fighting, an argument between the old man and his son around about,
8 o'clock. It was 8 o'clock, that's right. They heard an argument. Saw the boy run angrily out of the house. What does that prove?
Oh, don't exactly prove anything.
This boy's been hit so many times in his life that violence is, it's a normal 2 slaps in the face provoking him into committing murder.
No.
Next.
Can talk here forever. It's still the same thing. He threw a rock at a teacher. He stole a car. He's been arrested for mugging. Say he's real handy with a knife.
5 years old. His father beat him up regularly. He used his fists.
So would I. A kid like that? Huh.
Got any kids?
3.
I got one. When he was 9 years old, he ran away from a fight. When he was 16, we had a fight. Hit me in the jaw. I haven't seen him for 2 years.
Boy, let's say he's the product of a broken home and a filthy neighborhood. We can't help that. We're here to decide whether he's innocent or guilty. He was born in a slum. Slums are breeding grounds for criminals. I know it, and so do you. Now, I think...
Brother, you
I
can say
think
that
so.
again. I've lived in a slum all my life. I mean,
Wait a minute.
Please, I still smell it on me.
Now listen, Sonny. Come on now, there's nothing personal
Oh,
about
now, there
this.
was something
Okay.
personal.
Come on, fella, he didn't.
Your turn down there. Let's go.
Why they are getting
He's the one who's keeping us in here. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Oh, no, wait a minute. What do you mean, a kid?
Well, what do you think I mean?
I don't-
K-I-D, kid.
they are clumsy.
Calm down, will you?
Don't tell me to calm down. Hey, you want to take the chair? Just take the chair. Listen, you think it's funny or
Hey,
something?
forget it, fella. The whole thing's unimportant. Come on.
Unimportant. Well, here, you try.
Unimportant, really.
Tell you how I feel about it. It's all right with me.
Boy, I don't care what you do.
I sat there in court for 6 days listening while the evidence built up. The feeling that the defense counsel wasn't conducting a thorough enough cross-examination.
What little things. Listen, when these fellas don't ask questions, it's because they know the answers already. And they...
If I was on trial for my life, I'd want my lawyer to tear the prosecution witnesses to shreds, or at least try to. Look,
I'm a good lawyer.
there was circumstantial evidence. But actually, those 2 witnesses were the entire case for the prosecution.
What's the point of having witnesses at all?
Could they be wrong?
And under oath.
They're only
Uh-huh.
people.
Doesn't
People
mean
make mistakes. Could
anything.
they be wrong?
I
No,
don't think so, really. I think witness is that strong.
Shouldn't we go in order?
They'll get a chance to talk. Just be quiet a second, will you?
The gentleman has a right to see exhibits and evidence.
They're trying to see the
Did you bring us
evidence.
a knife? The boy admitted going out of the house at 8 o'clock on the night of the murder.
He said punch. There's a difference
Punch,
between a
okay.
slap and a punch.
Junk shop where he bought one of those
Switch knives.
switchblade knives, the only one of its kind he had ever had in stock. Talked with his friends for about an hour, leaving them at 9:45. During this time, they saw the switch knife. The death weapon in court has that very same knife. Turning home at 3:10 to find his father dead and...
Detectives arrested him, threw him down a half a flight of stairs.
Oh,
Now, what happened? It fell through a hole in his pocket on the way to the movies. The boy never went to the movies that night. No one in the house saw him go out at 11:30. No
That's
one at
not
the
alibi.
theater identified. What actually happened is this. Even remembered to wipe the knife clean of fingerprints, just to
There's
test its
so
sharpness.
many
No, I'm
knives.
just saying it's possible the boy lost his knife and that somebody else stabbed his father with a similar knife. It's just possible.
Pretty incredible coincidence.
I'm just saying a coincidence is possible.
And I say it's not possible.
Really?
Where did that come from?
You do.
It's the same knife.
I bought that in a little pawn shop just 2 blocks from the boy's house.
It's against the law to buy or sell switchblade knives.
That's
Really?
right, I broke the law.
Some kind of knife.
The odds are 1,000,000 to 1.
That's true.
It's possible.
But not very
Very good.
probable.
This is
You know,
very
it's
dramatic.
interesting.
What do you think you're going to accomplish? You're not going to change anybody's mind.
What are you going to do? You know, we can be here all night. We'll just sweat the whole thing out, right?
I don't think he ought to joke about it.
Oh, listen, somebody saw the kid stab his father. What more do we need?
Who is that
You guys
somebody?
can talk.
The only one.
We call for another vote.
Another part?
Vote by secret written ballot. If anyone votes not guilty, you stay here and talk it out.
That's very good.
Now, it's fair. Everyone agreed?
And that's all the bots. Guilty.
Guilty? Guilty?
It's a lot guilty. Not guilty. 1.
Not guilty.
Another chap flips his wings.
All right. Who was it? Come on, I want to know.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
We all agree
secret.
on that.
But there are no secrets in a jury room. I
Yeah,
know
okay.
who it was. Here, vote guilty like the rest of us, then some golden-voiced preacher starts, why don't you drop a quarter in this collection box?
Think you are?
Down, calm
No, what does he
down.
think he is?
It doesn't matter. He
Excitable, you
Excitable,
bet I'm excitable.
okay.
We're trying to put a guilty man in the chair.
He didn't change his vote. I did.
Oh,
I
fine.
know it.
Now, he doesn't say the boy is not guilty. He just isn't sure. Well, it's not
Yeah.
easy to stand alone against the ridicule of others. Right now, the vote is 10-2. I'm talking here. You have no right to leave this
Can't
room.
hear you.
I think we ought to take a break. You know, one man's inside
Right.
and...
It's becoming prostitute.
That thing with the old...
I'm a watchmaker.
Oh, really? When we reach a point like this, I'm telling about in an ad agency when a point like this is reaching a meeting. Always run it up the flagpole and see if anyone salutes it. I mean, it's idiotic, but it's funny. Huh?
Glad you're not one of those lets these emotional appeals influence him.
Hey, you a salesman?
I'm an architect.
I made 27 grand last year selling marmalade. That's not bad. I mean, somebody bumped you on the head one time and you haven't gotten over it.
Okay.
Maybe.
Why don't you donate $5 to the cause and maybe it'll make you feel better.
What's this guy on about?
Kid is
What difference does it make if you get it here at the ball game?
no difference, pal.
It'd have been done already. Oh, I don't mind, you know. Beats
Yeah,
work.
I guess his idea.
Guilty, huh?
I don't know. It's possible.
But
He
I'm
says
betting you've never
he's
been
not
wronger in
guilty.
your life.
Supposing you were the one that was on trial.
Looks like we'll be here for dinner, huh?
I was wondering how clearly the old man could have heard the boy's voice through the ceiling. Didn't hear it through. It's not that easy to identify a voice, particularly a shouting voice.
Right in the open window and saw the boy stab his
Yeah,
father.
then-
Now,
How long it would take, Anel?
Right. Playing crossword.
This isn't a game.
The absolute nerve.
All right, forget it. It's not a...
Who does he think he is?
All right, I'm telling you.
How long it takes an elevator train going at medium speed to pass a given point?
Doesn't even know.
10, 12 seconds?
10 seconds is about right.
All right, say 10 seconds.
10
What are you
seconds.
getting at?
This. Does anyone here ever live near the L tracks?
Well, what do you mean?
Noisy?
Oh, brother.
The noise is almost unbearable. You can hardly hear yourself think.
All right, you can't hear yourself.
As he heard the boy say, I'm going to kill you, and a split second later heard a body hit the floor. 1 second later, right?
That's right.
Second, right? The last two cars.
It's like
What are you giving us
2
here?
seconds.
Now, the body hit the floor just as the train went by. A full 10 seconds before the body hit the floor, with the L roaring past his nose. It's not possible he could have heard it. I think he still couldn't have identified the voice with the L roaring by.
You're talking about a matter of seconds. Nobody can be that accurate.
Chair should be that accurate.
There you go.
Oh, what are you people talking about?
That's a lot of noise.
Attention, maybe.
You keep coming in. Why don't you send them into a paper? They pay $3 a piece.
Guy talks like that to an old man really ought to get stepped on, you know?
Yeah,
You
this
say
guy's
stuff
no
like that to him
respects.
again.
He walked very slowly to the stand, dragging his left leg. Insignificant old man who has been nothing all his life.
You want to say this,
Recognition. Nobody knows him for 75 years.
Hey,
When
man,
there
what are
was
you
a
trying
chance...
to do? Tell us you lied just so we could be important once?
No, believe he heard those words.
When you make up a thing like that, what do you know about it?
What did he know about him?
This phrase, how many times have all of us used it? Probably thousands. I could kill you for that, darling.
Don't tell me you didn't mean it. Anybody says a thing like that the way he said it, they mean it.
Well, gee, now, I don't know.
Helen.
Weeks ago,
Yeah, sorry.
he called me an idiot, so I yelled at him.
Well, he was going to kill him, and he did kill him.
Not out a thing like that so the whole neighborhood could hear him?
Doesn't
I
make
don't think
sense.
so. He's much too bright for that.
Slob, he don't even speak good English.
Change my vote to not guilty.
What?
There you go. It's convincing all of them.
3.
For one of those kooky detective magazines, you'd make a fortune. Look, lawyers aren't
bet
infallible,
for-
you
He was
know.
court appointed. I mean, he didn't want the case, or he resented being appointed. No money, no glory, not
Look
even...
at the time. Huh? Come on, for crying out
Pardon me.
Not getting impatient.
It
Yeah,
seems to
speaking
me that
mass.
this man has some very good points to make. How was he caught by the police? He came back home. Why would he come back home 3 hours later? Wouldn't he be afraid of being caught?
in people's chests.
There you
Yeah,
go.
especially relatives.
Yeah.
I don't see anything funny about it.
Okay.
Left his knife there.
I believe I have to be loyal to one side or the other. I'm simply asking questions.
Stabbing and everything, I'd take a chance and go back with the knife. I'll bet he figured that nobody had seen him running out.
The train went by. She screamed and then went to telephone the police.
Yeah.
Now, he knew that somebody saw something.
They
Just
wouldn't have
don't
come back.
think that he would have gone back.
There you
Two
go.
things. Screams were fairly commonplace.
There's your answer.
in the middle of the
Maybe.
night.
And wonder whether he was there at all during the time the killing took place.
Says he did. Boy, how do you like that?
Look, witnesses can make mistakes.
Sure, when you want them to, they do. People are talking only about the little details. You're forgetting the important stuff. I mean, talking here.
Another vote called for.
Okay.
And on nothing.
It only takes a second.
He's a guess.
Okay, I guess the...
I vote not guilty.
Oh,
There you go.
This is getting to be a joke.
the vote is 8-4.
I want you to get up and tell me why you changed your vote. Come on.
Not the knife, don't you remember?
Oh, brilliant.
Okay.
I'm telling you, this is the craziest. He's just saying so to be important, right? I mean, what's the point of the whole thing?
He ran to the door.
Ran, walked, what's the difference? He got on, did he? I mean, he got there, didn't he?
No,
Again.
I don't remember what he said, but I don't see how he could have run to the door.
See a diagram of the apartment.
Look, why don't we just have him run a truck?
Where the body was.
Somebody else, he had a stroke last year, can get from his bedroom to his front door in 15 seconds.
20 seconds.
He said 15.
How does he know how long 15 seconds is? You can't. He was an old man. Half the time he was confused. How could he be positive about anything?
Okay. Just repeating his own words.
All right, here's the apartment where the killing took place. The old man said he crossed to the door and walked down the hall, opened the front door, just in time to see the boy running down the stairs. 12 feet from the bed to the door, the hall is 43 feet. 43 feet down and open the front door, all in 15 seconds.
For an old man who had a stroke, it is a long walk.
Oh, pride. Why didn't his lawyer bring it up of its own
Well,
force?
maybe he just didn't think about it.
I don't matter what I thought of it. He
You
didn't.
can't recreate a thing like that.
The
I would
hall
like to
was
see it.
43 feet out face of that wall and back.
Absolutely insane. What are you wasting everybody's time in here?
What are we going to do, play charades now? Come on.
What are we waiting?
That's
Come on,
pretty good.
speed it up. He walked twice as fast.
Stop.
Right.
What's the time?
How many seconds was it?
Exactly 41 seconds.
That's what I think happened. Somebody racing down the stairs and assumed it was the boy.
I think that's
Yes,
possible.
sir.
Assume. You all know he's guilty. He's got to burn. You're letting him slip through our fingers.
Was executioner?
I'm one of them.
Great.
To want to pull the switch. Ever since you walked into this room, you've been acting like a self-appointed public avenger. You're a sadist.
Say this. Uh-oh.
Kill him all.
You really mean you'll kill me, do you?
Uh-oh. He broke the wall point. Now he's getting upward.
Pardon, what are you so polite about?
Fight, we have a responsibility. Come down to this place to decide on the guilt or innocence of a man we have never heard of. Gain or lose by our verdict.
The cat licks it up.
Yeah, it's the boy.
But we're going to have a storm now.
So
Don't you ever sweat? Take another vote.
another part.
Oh, great.
Well, that's okay with me. Anyone doesn't want to vote?
Yeah, he's sweating like crazy.
I could vote guilty. 2.
Not guilty.
Well, he changed his mind.
Number 7. Number 12.
Guilty.
Yeah, he doesn't even listening.
The vote is now 6-6.
Yeah, half and half.
Kid like that.
I don't think the kind of boy he is has anything to do with it. I mean, you keep shouting at the top of your lungs. That man gets on my...
How come you changed your vote?
Well, it just seemed to me there was room for doubt.
You haven't got a leg to
On
stand.
top. He said he's running, huh? He just will go down.
This reminds me of a storm we had last November. Quite a storm we had there. It was right in the middle of a game. We had this kid Slattery. Whoosh, right down. Well, that was murder, you know? I nearly called him.
Hey, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Must have been on the same switch with the lights. Hey.
That's a damn stupid thing to do.
Public avenger, sadist and everything. I mean, anyone in his right mind would blow a stack.
He did an excellent job.
I'm ready to walk in the court right now.
So let's take it to the
What's
judge
going
and
on?
let the kid take his chance.
Still don't think there's room for reasonable doubt.
No, I don't.
I'd like to go over something if you gentlemen don't mind. Couldn't remember the names of the movies or the stars who appeared in them.
The only alibi the boy offered. And he himself couldn't back it up with any...
The boy was questioned by the detectives in the kitchen of his apartment, while the body of his father was lying on the floor in the bedroom. Those
That's messy.
circumstances, great emotional stress.
I'll take the testimony of the policeman who interrogated the boy right after the murder.
Where were you last night?
I was home.
Oh, here
How
we
about the night
go.
before that? And the night before that? Monday night?
When you get down to New Year's Eve, 1954, let me know, huh?
My wife
He
and I went to
started
the
to
movie.
lose.
What did you see? The Scarlet Circle. Remarkable Mrs. Something, the remarkable Mrs. Bainbridge.
I saw that. It's called The Amazing Mrs. Bainbridge.
Barbara Long, I think it was. Who else? I'd never heard of him before.
You weren't under an emotional stress, were you?
Something is right.
No. The floor. The boy is guilty, period. Know what I mean, my friend?
Going to have conclusions.
There goes your ball game.
There was this whole business about the stab wound and how it was made. The downward angle of it.
Written over it.
Well, I know they did, but I don't go along with
What?
it. To stab down into the chest of someone who's more than half a foot taller than you are.
Somebody get up.
Tema session.
6 or 7 inches shorter, okay?
It's about right, maybe a little more.
Where is stab him? Yes. I thought you were going to stab him.
Well, this is the way I'd stab a man who was...
Down and in, I guess there's no argument. Ever see a knife fight?
No.
You? No?
No.
Anybody here ever see a knife fight? Switchblades came with the neighborhood where I lived before. I guess you tried
That's a
to get those
coincidence. He was
How do you
here.
use a switchblade?
underhanded.
There you go.
Anyone who's ever used a switch knife, know the experience he'd had all his life handling these things. I feel he'd have gone for him underhanded.
Room when the father was killed?
No. Neither was anybody else. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
There's a lot.
know.
Is that to convince him?
The yakking back and forth. It's getting us nowhere. I changed my vote to not guilty.
Oh,
You what? What do you
Okay,
mean you've
that's right
had
there.
enough? That's no answer.
What kind of a man are you? You have sat here and voted guilty with everyone else,
So,
and
what
now
did you
you've
get?
changed. Right to play like this with a man's life? Don't you care?
Now, wait a minute.
Vote not guilty, then do it because you are convinced the man is not guilty. Not guilty or not guilty?
I told you. Not guilty.
Why?
the reason.
Look, I don't have to...
You do have...
Inside the reason.
Hey, there's
Another boy.
another vote call for.
No, 8 really. It's only 4 people.
9.
9, 10. 2 people
Well,
left.
the vote's 9-3 in favor.
Losing the knife in that business about being at the movies. Look, you know how these people lie? You know what I mean? Violent. Where are you going? Human life don't mean as much to them as it does to us. Gets killed, so something gets killed. They don't care. Oh, sure, there's some good
They
things
don't
about
care.
them, too. They have no feelings. They can do anything.
Okay. Now standing up.
They're no good. There's not a one of them who's any good.
Peace and you.
No.
These people are dangerous.
These people really.
Wild. Listen to me.
Guessing on the whole group really.
Sit down and don't open your mouth again.
Personal prejudice out of a thing like this. Prejudice always obscures the truth. 9 of us now seem to feel that the defendant is innocent. But we have a reasonable doubt. And that's something that's very valuable in our system. You can tell us.
To get back
I'll try.
reason.
The evidence given by the woman across the street who actually saw the
Most important testimony.
and his arm over his head and stabbed down into the father's chest. Her bed was next to the window, and she could look out while lying down and through the windows of a passing L train. That she got a good look at the boy in the act of stabbing his father. Complicated business. Frankly, I don't see how you can vote for acquittal.
And throw out all the other evidence. The woman saw him do it. What else do you want?
Changing my vote. He's guilty.
Anybody else? The vote is 8-4. You're the leader of the cause. What about it?
Later. Okay.
Flannel suit here is bouncing backwards and forwards like a tennis ball.
This into a contest. The aforementioned 7 o'clock. I think that's a point at which we might begin to discuss.
Don't you feel well? You rub your nose like... Oh,
Trying to settle something here, do you mind?
why you rub your nose like that?
Oh, come on, will you?
At this point, I happen to be talking to the gentleman sitting next to you.
But it bothers me a little.
Oh, I'm sorry. It made those 2 deep impressions. I hadn't noticed that before.
It is very annoying.
Annoying.
A woman who testified that she saw the killing had those same marks.
Holy smokes, you know he's right.
She had those same marks.
He's right. But she did do that a lot.
5 years old, to look 35.
She
Public
don't put
appearance.
attention.
How do you know whether she wore glasses? Just because she was rubbing her nose?
I was the closest one to her. She had these things in the side of her nose. What do you call them?
Anything other than eyeglasses?
No. You're the only one.
What about the lawyer? Why didn't he say something?
Didn't want to because she thinks they spoil her looks.
Okay.
I think you can
Do you
wear
wear glasses when you go
glasses.
to bed?
There you go.
No,
On the bed.
I don't. Bed.
Just hadn't have had time to put them on there. Here's another guess. You only saw a blur.
How do you
Okay.
know what she saw? How does he know all that?
Yes,
Farsighted. What do you know about it?
So close
Don't
up
you think the
now.
woman might have made a mistake?
No. No, it's not possible.
Really? Only one person there?
You think he's guilty?
What about all the other evidence? What about all that stuff? The knife, the whole business?
One business.
You're alone. It's my right.
No one's standing in there. Please.
want to hear your argument. We're not
other
convinced.
arguments. I think if there is
Why
a
don't you take that stuff about the old man who lived there, and the old man saw him right there on the stairs. What's the difference how many seconds it was? But you can't prove it. $1,000, I'd remember the movies I saw. Twisted and turned, testified in open court.
and
And what about hearing the kid yell? Huh? Well, that's it. That's the whole case.
Okay.
Say something.
It's intense.
Kids, you work your life out.
Yes, it's all problem.
Not guilty.
Okay. Sense his minds.
Not guilty. We're ready now.
Yeah, I agree to not guilty. That's nice.
Davis.
My name's McCardle. So long.
Now he walked out because I sent him to be there, and it was quite impressive that the whole movie took place in only one room. 12 men rotated their own roles really well. This line was actually very interesting case. How one man convinces all of them. I guess you can really fight with the truth. So amazing acting from all of them. Yeah, okay, so in the video there, we shall level out and see you next video.